Plan A is, can we get CaliTrolz fed with their flowchart? If not, can Slooshi pick up something? Can we salvage that there? Because that's really the two linchpins of their team strategy. Sometimes Dodo will roam around the map, but he doesn't always get that opportunity with the support they set him up with.
Right, we do know he loves to roam. May actually be having the Morgana this game. We see the Janna getting banned out, so he may be forced onto that with the Aurelia. And the Morgana being banned out right now. So they don't actually want any of that. Yeah, that's very true. 3 supports in the top lane Aurelia so far.
Yeah, they're really just kind of getting rid of the hard engage and the disengage, and then the poke. You've really kind of shut down 3 compositions that rely on a support player and a support pick.
Yeah.
So there's not a whole lot left in terms of meta that is left. People are going to go for things like Thresh this game. Who knows? Might even see a Braum come out.
You very well could. These guys we do know them to branch out to a few other champions. Seeing Dodo on Nami already this split, we haven't seen too many champions, or rather players, go to that. Lissandra will be banned out as well. You've been talking about a bit of the engage, and that's one of the champions that'll get you there.
She's actually 8-0 right now in the North American LCS.
Yeah,
completely undefeated on that champion.
Point.
So taking that away, but also showing that they don't prioritize a first pick that's going to be something like that top lane engage. Usually teammate will be, we're going to last pick for Cali, or we're going to first pick for him and get a power pick top laner. Ahri's still up, though. Ahri
is definitely still up. We see the Nidalee getting banned out because that can go to Porpoise, or actually to Slooshi, for that matter. And we'll have to see what they actually decide to go for on the side of teammate for a first pick. With so much left open, this would be an odd one to do. But they're just hovering. They go for the Kassadin. Pretty solid pickup.
That's something that Slooshi can just sit and farm on, or it's a flex pick here so they don't reveal too much of their hand too early on, and that they can still possibly get a counter pick for Cali, or they can just find another flex pick for the mid lane. We'll have to see what they do here.
Slooshi did play that Kassadin back in week 2 against Coast on day 2, so no stranger to it. Jarvan could be picked up by Dominate. We know he can also spread to the Nunu and the likes of other junglers, but with this being up and able to pick in the first time around on your side, I think it'd be a good choice. Not showing too much as well if they were to go with something for the mid lane.
Yeah, right now, it's safe to pick your jungler, but you also want those top-tier picks. Azir for FeniX is really good. Ahri for FeniX is definitely really good. So now, this Kassadin gets to know what he goes up against in the mid lane, and then they can swap it to top if they have to. But I'm not sure how much of a CaliTrolz pick that is.
That's a good point. Knowing that they could switch it, now it's going to have to go up against an Ahri anyways. Could see something big here from Porpoise. A lot of people have been wanting to see Kha'Zix here in the LCS, but not a lot of the junglers feel that to be strong enough to get through that part of the mid-game to the late game. Thresh, you were saying, could be a pickup here. CaliTrolz, we've seen a lot of big Maokai play in general, and Cali would be one of the guys to be able to bring out some high-tier play. So that does get locked in, and we're starting to see the composition come together now for Teammate.
Teammate are going for more or less something that's going to cluster up and have some good team fights here. That's their strength, so I'm glad that they're accentuating that. But Team Liquid, like I said, there's communication issues, so they're actually going to fare a little bit better if they go for something more pick-oriented or something that has individual outplay potential. So I really like FeniX on this Ahri here, and I want to see how they're able to snowball him up against that Kassadin, because he's going to have some pressure early shoving it in. Can he affect the side lanes?
We will have to see. Very strong bottom lane picked up here. maplestreet actually doesn't get his Graves again. He's been very adamant about going with that pick, so Piglet picks that up along with the Leona for Xpecial.
Yeah, and I like that pickup there because that also stops maplestreet being like, I'm going to pick Kalista, because this is a really good pick into Kalista because of the extra base stats from the
Didn't even say that she went by. She got actually pretty far through the list, but like you said, we may not be seeing her. Now, what can teammate round this out with?
Oh, he could go back to the auto attack master and go for the Draven. It was a really big pick for him, and he is going to go for it.
I'd say that's a scary pickup.
It's a maplestreet pick, though.
You have axes landing on circles that says Leona Zenith Blade here.
Yeah, it's very, very telegraphed. Yeah. That's the word I'm going for here. It's very telegraphed because he just throws it out, and that's like, all right, is he going to pick up the axe, throw your Zenith Blade out there, get the combination that you want? But that's going to be on Dodo because he can also stunt that with his Flay. So that bot lane dynamic.
That's true. That's true. A Solar Flare, however, will be piercing a Flay. So level 6 to come. If those lanes are matched up, we could see scary, scary things. Last pick here for Team Liquid to round it out, and it's Quas. Again, they do this actually quite a bit here to give Quas what he wants in that top lane. And it was even back under the previous name of the team as well.
Yeah, so
for Curse.
I think they would go with, they're going to go with the Rumble here because the Rumble-Jarvan combination is really good for them. This is a team that wants to fight you in team fights, though. They want to get those skirmishes. They want to control early dragons. And then Teammate's composition is kind of all over the place. They want to be able to dive in. So this is going to be just two things clashing at each other.
Well, it looks like it's going to work out for Teammate, like you said, all over, trying to clash into Liquid and find them. Dodo loves to be roaming in the early game. With his Morgana out this time, he will be doing that on the Thresh. But I'm really interested to see now maplestreet in this bottom lane up against Piglet, who kind of 2 AD carries were looking to really grow themselves out here. We know Piglet has had a huge past in history, but Kenny now here with the Team Liquid in North America.
Both these AD carries really need to make statements for themselves. Piglet has had a very underwhelming performance. He had a good Vayne game, but he still wasn't carrying that. That was a Liquid victory that they were playing as a team. He had 3 kills, 1 death. Nothing outstanding there. But maplestreet has always been kind of under the radar. Side lane farm, sometimes he doesn't show up to fights, but we'll have to see what he does on that Draven.
It is true. He puts himself in the right spot at the right time and really benefits from the team. It'll be up to, like you said, the AD carries to make their own benefits for themselves. The champs are locked in and loading, so start locking in your picks for this game. That's tweeting hashtag T8win or hashtag TLWin to @LOL Esports. And as always, we'll be checking in to see how the fan vote shifts throughout the game. We are about to head to the Rift. As you see the picks and bans on your screen, the crowd is ready, and we are ready as well. We're about to hop into the game. Game 4 here. Coming into week 4, it's going to be Teammate versus Team Liquid.
And Teammate, since I've been watching them for a very long time, they kind of get formulaic. It's, can CaliTrolz carry from the top lane? If not, is Slooshi in that position? And if those don't work out, maplestreet side pushes a side wave, and they 4v4 the map with Maple pushing. Sometimes they 1-3-1, but it gets very formulaic, and if Team Liquid have been on top of their research, they'll know that Dodo will try to roam on this Thresh early on, try to leave maplestreet in a 1-on-1, and just have him play safe and farm.
Now, does the pick of Maokai kind of constrict that with having Cali wanting to be a huge carry for the game?
They're going to want to group up very early, but Team Liquid has a team that punishes you for that.
Yeah. Well, right here, trying to get a little punishment down, at least Vision, and they won't find any members of Team Liquid just yet. They're going to mirror pretty much the same thing here in the early part of the game. We'll see both teams getting what they want as they return back to their lanes here.
Yeah. Teammate gets a lot of information on Team Liquid, though, seeing them go through that left side jungle.
Yeah, with the warded blue.
They get to go all the way through this right side. I don't even know if FeniX barely sees this.
Little peeks. He's playing peekaboo right now. So both junglers know they will be kind of warded out here in the early part of the game. Probably just get the same jungle paths. What are you seeing?
Quas got boots first on Rumble here.
That is very
boots
interesting.
4 pots.
What season are we in again?
Oh no, Rip.
Been quite a while since we've actually seen a laner do that. What would be kind of the purpose for seeing here?
He wants to move around fast? No. Okay. So when usually you'll see a Rumble when they go in a 2v1 lane swap, you'll end up seeing them with a Ruby Crystal or a Doran Shield. But he knows that he's going to be in this 1-on-1. They warded for that to make sure that he has this. So he's going to run up with his Flame Spitter and try to deal more damage or the full duration of it to CaliTrolz. That's the intention of this build.
Quite interesting. Obviously, keep an eye on that here as we see the Maokai start. Going to be throwing down some saplings. Porpoise takes bottom. We will not have the AD carries taking Gromp and Krugs to start this matchup.
So CaliTrolz getting that level 2 is going to give him a lot of potions to start this matchup with, which is going to help him out in that top lane with the early level 2. He might be able to put some pressure on Quas, but it is a Rumble, and he's going to TP to the creep to immediately do that. This is the CaliTrolz style of not letting up the aggression.
Quas has good charge on his gauge, though, so he could be able to put out some damage. Obviously, at level 1, it's not going to be huge. He's trying to do what he can. CaliTrolz can obviously stand in this for now, and it's all about the wet noodle fight in the top lane here. Slooshi and FeniX actually quite in each other's face here to start off the game. FeniX already 10-5 in CS as he's forcing Slooshi into the turret, as we figured he'd be.
You want to talk about aggression? This bottom lane, though, 11-3 in CS already. maplestreet is shoving this in onto Piglet. He's not getting a lot of CS here. He has a wave that's building up, but they're allowing this to push in on him.
That's talked about how big the level 2 could have been here for Team Liquid, but the fact that Team 8 gets it, obviously paying off big. And they will continue to put this pressure on. maplestreet safely catching all of these axes. So it almost makes the trades impossible now for Piglet to even want to get in.
Yeah, him going up with the true grid, it would be very risky to go against the spinning axes. But we see PorpoisePops off on the side.
So this is good vision for Slooshi as well. He's getting those sonar bumps as FeniX is walking around from Porpoise. Could be a flash blown here. It's not going to quite get under the backside of that tail, and FeniX does get out just in time. He's low on mana, though, so he may be going back himself.
That extra movement speed, it makes Ahri so hard to gank at all stages of the game.
Somebody's coming. Throw my Q!
Yeah, exactly. Throw my Q, run backwards, and then you're out. You don't even need to be level 6 to escape anymore.
Seems fair.
Yeah. But
4 minutes on the clock, and we'll see Quas. He's actually tied up in the top lane with CaliTrolz. Porpoise, after that gank, will return into the jungle. So only a little bit of jungler knowledge is given to Team Liquid off of that. We did see FeniX dodged out. Not as much roaming as we thought we'd see. Obviously, the lanes are matched up, so we'll have to see who can take advantage of that early vision.
Right now,
Putting out the early vision, I should say.
Yeah, the lanes are more or less in teammates' favor, except for that mid lane at the moment, and that's the lane he tried to tilt, but it's okay because Kassadin will scale extremely well. Giving up farm early is not a big deal. But this bottom lane, though,
yeah, good point.
maplestreet is getting a ton of last hits. He's building up his passive for when he does cash in on a kill. So Team Liquid are going to have to keep this in their minds as he keeps shoving out, as Dodo keeps his ward control.
88 stacks right now.
Yep. This is actually a maplestreet comfort pick. As strange as that sounds, this was a champion that he was playing all throughout Challenger, all throughout his time when he was between Velocity and being on Team 8.
Yeah.
He just grinds this champion all the time. He absolutely loves it. Ever talking about an AD carry, he's like, I wish Draven would come back.
Well, it's great when you have those picks as well that nobody's going to want to ban, because if it's just like one of those days and the team's cool with it, you get your Draven, and it's going to hopefully work out for the team. Quas, level 5, feels like he can go in. A little bit more base stats there on his engage, but Dominate's going to see this pressure. He's kind of been reading it with that early level 2 from CaliTrolz. We'll see if it pays off here with the game.
Yeah, this wave is definitely shoving up, so if CaliTrolz wants to claim this CS, he's going to have to put himself at risk here. Quas is almost overheated, though. He gets about one more spell out.
Oh, yeah, he's going to have to wait. It's a great call on the gauge. That's the overheat on the Flame Spitter, so they're really not in range for harpoons. CaliTrolz very close to going down, however.
Still get his flash, though, but look at this FeniX in the mid lane.
Another flash. Oh! What a great charm. They will force it. Porpoise was still in range, obviously walking towards the charm, and they weren't able to take down FeniX. There's the engage from Xpecial. They're able to back off quite nicely, and Dodo playing good defense there. Yep. Good trade, though, for Piglet and them. Good damage on him.
Flay to keep him out. But this mid lane, they did get FeniX's flash, but Slooshi was completely out of mana. He couldn't help him. He just had to stand there, and he's basically letting this lane get away from him. He needs that jungle attention so they can shove that wave up, and he can back and buy. Doesn't get his catalyst, though. Wasn't able to stay in lane long enough for that. That's actually pretty big for the casting because it allows him to stay and just sit there on that item forever and just keep getting levels. Now, he's going to have to back at least one more time and give up a little more CS to FeniX. So if FeniX can start roaming and shoving in and taking over this game, that'd be really good for Team Liquid.
And that's the big thing for FeniX. Right now, he is number 2 in the mid lane for top CS at 10 minutes. And that means if you're the one that's always near the top, you're having more time to roam. You're putting pressure on your lane, and we're going to be able to see that from him here. Now, some 20 CS up. We said Slooshi would still come back, but these guys are kind of on a timer here with that power line.
Yeah, he's just being the reliable mid laner where he will scale up. They aren't afraid of Team Liquid's aggression, but we do see Dominate coming bottom. They saw his path. They know that he's here.
That was a good ping out. Stay it safe. Oh, they want to go ward.
They went up.
Should be able to get good hits on Maple here. Porpoise was just on the backside in the fog of war. One teleport's going to come in. Quas was already walking down. They may be going for Dragon after this one. That's going to be onto Porpoise. He will go down. Quas picks up first blood on a very quick reaction to teleport down to the bottom lane.
They aren't done with this, though. They're still surrounding them. Very low HP, below half here.
Quas also did this as his turret was being pushed in, so they do need to get more on this, and they are going to get more on it. The turret will fall after, and this is going to mean some good map control.
CaliTrolz didn't have his teleport available until just now. He wasn't able to come to that fight, and the early boots from Quas were so that he could upgrade them to tier 2 boots and get that penetration and show up and be even faster. So this was actually a really good buy from him. It paid off. He wasn't punished for it. And he's able to capitalize on it. But look at this.
Oh, Slooshi. Almost getting taken out in the mid lane. Not the first time we'd see Ahri players doing that. If you cast your mind back to Bjergsen's Ahri. Also getting kills.
There's the TP, though.
The solo fashion. CaliTrolz comes in, and that's his used quite well, especially for what just happened. They actually didn't lose the bottom turret with the amount of damage and wave control that they were lacking for Team Liquid. So Team 8 is actually going to move in on this and lose 3, but they're going to gain a nice first dragon.
Yeah. Overall, though, it is a victory for Team Liquid.
Right.
Because of the dive, because of the fact that they were able to tilt this lane back into almost even in the bottom lane because they capitalized off the aggression.
That was
You want to go for that ward. sometimes you're like, I want to ward this bush to know if he's there, but if he's there, I'm dead. And that's exactly what happened.
And one of the things to look about that as well, is that they both went up there to ward it. So they both caught themselves in a bad situation.
Yeah, if Maple had just gone up to ward it, then boom, out with a Thresh Lantern.
Yep.
Hey,
Easy to
teammate synergy.
Easier said
we
than
live
done.
together, we die together.
Yeah.
Teamwork everywhere, buddy system.
Teammates.
Even when face check.
That's the name, right? Teammates.
Teammate.
That's right. Teammates. Got to get it. 9 minutes on the clock, a 2K gold lead here for Liquid as they have had a good teleport work in their favor from Quas. We said that to the bottom lane. And a teammate tried to scrape things back together with the Dragon, which obviously not giving up that global gold only gives them the first stack. We'll see how they can use that in the early game. Still pushing here, 57 to 51, so even teleporting out, Quas is staying up nicely in CS in this lane.
Yeah, you talked about the early stack of Dragon. It's not going to do too much work for them at all because Slooshi, no AP, it's not going to magnify anything for him.
Even more true, right?
He's sitting on that. CaliTrolz doesn't really need it that much. He might hit a break point where he can kill caster minions faster, but it's still way too early on to make use of it. So they stopped Team Liquid from getting it, and that's really just the bright spot there for them. If you had a bright spot to look at. They are getting invaded, though. He sees this.
I don't know if they're going to be able to do too much with it, though. And it looks like they're going to actually have to give this up. So Team Liquid using a bit of that power they got from the last few fights, levels, and just map control to grab out that blue. Oh. Pretty well done as well without dropping mid or top turret there. They had no reaction from Team A.
He actually doesn't see that ward in front of him because he's burrowed and doesn't have the vision of it. But look at this FeniX going hard on Slooshi.
Oh! What? Oh, just under the arm of Slooshi, and it looks like he will have to actually wait out the rift on this one. Looks like he'll be using too much mana. FeniX does not decide to keep going for fear of vision.
Lift up your void kilt and woo, there goes the charm. Straight underneath you.
Got himself out.
Yeah, so that's the kind of aggression that I want to see from FeniX on this Ahri. I want to see him press this up and then go off to the side and start keeping Slooshi down even further. Slooshi doesn't even go for the catalyst, but look at this.
That's the catch axe right on the solar flare, completely telegraphed, completely dead, and maplestreet goes down.
Goes to catch an axe. Sun gets him right in the eyes. Stunned. Dodo actually throws the lantern and tries to walk up to stop the flay.
Yeah.
And it makes it so that when he takes the lantern, it's not worth anything.
Yeah, the lantern brings you right to the danger
around
zone.
Dodo, they know
man.
he doesn't have flash.
He just locks him down. They're going to go ahead and give this one over to Piglet for having a rough lane. He's now 2-0-1, and Team Liquid has been making the right moves from the early game.
In the right places, too, because when you think of Team 8, you think of CaliTrolz carrying, you think of Slooshi being reliable. What do you think of their bottom lane? You think, okay, that's probably the weakest point for us to exploit. Then you see maplestreet get a comfort pick like Draven, and he becomes over-aggressive. They keep shoving in, and you capitalize on that. Dominate's able to go through the jungle because FeniX is able to duel Slooshi. So Slooshi cannot come bottom. When he does, Ahri answers.
Now, see this point of the game coming in, obviously a little too early. They still have top turret to grab, but we'll see how Team Liquid actually takes to dropping this second line of turrets if they find themselves having trouble, as most teams kind of have.
Yeah, you kind of hit a bump with communication and warding, because wards are great for letting you know where people are, but you also know where they aren't. So then you can be like, there's somebody who's not here, who is it? And then boom, you can start a fight with that knowledge, you can rotate with that knowledge, but you have to get those wards down in the jungle. But I think that Team Liquid are actually in a great spot to do that, because of the aggression. But look at this, Quas in this side brush here. He's going after Maple. Nope.
Too far. He knows that he doesn't really have... He has a bit of actually the vision to do that. Pretty deep down the lane, just not into the jungle enough.
Yep. Swap their lanes, going to get more turrets, like you said.
Yeah.
After this row falls, though, they have to get this deep vision. They can control it, though, with the team composition they drafted for themselves and the way they're playing the laning phase. Yeah. But it's easier said than done. You have to be on the same page. You can be caught out while warding very easily.
You can be caught out while trying to stop a dead turret from going down as well. I don't know with the damage.
Oh, he went in?
Infinity Edge uncompleted. If Piglet can have the power or DPS to take these guys out. Teammate collapses nicely, but here comes Dominate. Cataclysm already up from that fight back down in the bottom lane, and he's helping now. Slooshi getting taken down by FeniX over the wall, and that Ahri pick into the Kassadin pays off for the jumps. Great fight by Team Liquid to collapse.
You don't even need vision control if you're just going to take a fight like that, and Teammate are going to hand it to you. maplestreet's been pushing bottom the entire time. I talked about how they're formulaic. This is what he does. They take 4v4 fights. That was a 4v5 because Quas was there to answer Maple, and he just TP'd up. CaliTrolz also has this thing where he'll start fights, and if you don't follow, you're the one who's wrong. So PorpoisePops void rushes.
We've seen that many times.
Yeah, he void rushes in. He's like, you guys better be here. Speaking of being here.
Oh, we talked a little bit about how Quas had the vision,
trades.
but maplestreet is not having the vision just yet. However, he might have the micro to get this one in his favor. CaliTrolz teleports in. It looks like they're just going to be able to grab some turret pressure here. Nicely played by Maple.
Yep, gets the flash from Quas, and now they get some pressure on this bottom turret. And Teammate might be able to start salvaging at this point. If they get themselves a turret, they'll get themselves more map pressure. But it's still very far from going down. I don't think they're going to get it this way.
See that one more time in the top lane. Teammate was really approaching a turret that was going down no matter what.
Yeah, and you can see Quas hides himself, and then he TPs in when it looks like it's actually going to be a full-on fight. And maplestreet is still in that bottom lane. He has nothing to do here. And even though Dominate gets the Cataclysm down, it still does damage if you flash.
Yeah.
Slooshi, he has nothing to say in these fights. He really is just still trying to scale up in this game. He doesn't even have his Rod of Ages completed at 15 minutes.
That's something I was going to bring up is we said they had to kind of wait for a timer. I don't think that timer has gone off yet, and they're trying to collapse on actually things that Team Liquid is forcing them to. So an unfortunate turn of events here for Teammate as they wait for a power spike to hit. maplestreet knows that's a good situation, so he almost tries to take it. Might get him into some trouble later. Liquid having all the free time in the bottom lane now, and they have the wards to keep doing this too.
We actually had FeniX killing PorpoisePops again during that replay. So PorpoisePops at 0-3. And FeniX, he's definitely being very commanding. He's being a presence on the map with this Ahri. And he's almost got perfect CS at this point. He's got the 10 per minute. Farming extraordinarily well. It's basically a free lane for him. He doesn't have to worry about the pressure from Kassadin. We saw PorpoisePops ganks come in very early, but FeniX is just able to get away from them. And now he's a destructive force that they don't really have an answer for at this point in the game. It's very hard to lock her down with this composition. Cali would have to get in with a flash, twisted advance.
Yeah.
But then their damage is still very lacking. There's no Infinity Edge completed on Maple. It's like, even though they're getting handed this blue, Team Liquid, if they had all their members there, would be very able to fight this.
Absolutely. Still 16 minutes in, and the Rod of Ages yet to start charging up here. Looking around at some of the other items, and it's just completed. FeniX with that Abyssal Scepter, we've been seeing it more on Ahri's, just trying to make plays for themselves, as well as now it's adding that Magic Resist Shred for Quas's Rumble to get into these fights and do more damage. A really great synergistic team comp being built up here, inventory and champion-wise by Team Liquid.
Yeah, he's looking at 30 on himself and then 20 extra from the Rod.
Yeah.
So he's got 50 magic resistance shred.
That's going to sting.
Maple's got 42 magic resistance. You're taking true damage from a Rumble at that point.
It's going to hurt. It's definitely going to make his job that much harder. We do see his Infinity Edge now finished up, so a bit of a spike there. The Rod of Ages will start ticking. A little bit of a sigh of relief for Teammate here, but now they just need to focus on staying alive so that relief can actually be something they use here in the next few minutes. Team Liquid is just full control of the map right now, and Teammate is forced to guard all of their turrets.
And they're just muscling this down. They have 2 Rod of Ages on Teammate. Those are still trying to ramp up. Those were basically just purchased a minute ago against this mid-spiked Rumble. 17 minutes in.
Right. About
50 magic penetration before you count in whatever runes and masteries he's running. This guy is doing true damage to about 4 members of Teammate right now, because they are about 49 magic resistance across the board. Only one that isn't is that guy right there, Porpoise.
See if they actually decide to go in on this fight. It would be CaliTrolz. That's the guy I'm watching for Teammate. When these close fights approach, that guy to go in, and like you said, if you don't follow him, you're on the wrong.
It's a very, very clean game so far from Team Liquid. They are playing this systematically with the wards. Look at that. Shove top wave. After they get middle, boom. They have all the ward coverage here with pink wards. Immediately rotate. Teammate have to predict that they're going to be here, and even if they do, they can still muscle this turret down if they find the situation to do it.
Well, we talked about it a little in the early game. The team coordination does seem to be coming around for Liquid. A 9-0 on this one, not overextending in fights, which is actually something this team previously as Curse would do a little bit. They'd go for a blue and then chase you back behind your second tier turret after getting the blue and just wanting more, but that's not anymore. Yeah,
over-aggression, and also they were getting picked off because they weren't grouping as a team.
Yeah.
They've been showing a lot of signs of more teamwork, increased synergy in these last couple of minutes here. when they started to group up. A lot of this is based off the big lead they got off the bottom lane, though. So Piglet needs one more kill, and he's doubled his kills for the season.
He's going to get it. I think he's going to do it. Great buy here by Dominate and the lock of the Iron Solari, already kicking these Rod of Ages that are charging in the face. That's not going to help from the double AP comp. So really just things are happening at the time they need to for Team Liquid right now, and they're using those advantages. Still yet to die across the board there as we approach 20 minutes, and the Dragon really gating things right now. Would probably be the next time Liquid's going to go hard on something.
And this isn't really an advantage that's centralized on one person. It's across the board for Team Liquid. They can't go punch for punch with Team 8. Or Team 8 can't go punch for punch with Team Liquid now. Because of the advantage on every single member of that team.
The Ryla's completed up by Quas as well. CaliTrolz, the rest, I should say, rather, Slooshi, even as Kassadin rifting away from these, is going to have a hard time getting the distance he wants. Team Liquid now to the bottom lane. They're going to split this between mid and bot. Nobody can really fight with Quas right now at this point. They're just going to get the lanes pushed to where they want and execute.
And I like how they keep shoving up the lanes. They don't stop the pressure. They could actually go for a 20-minute Baron. It is in the books for them, but they have to worry about Team 8's team fight. But they're more than willing to answer. They could even just bait it and be like, if you come up, Rumble's got you with an ult.
Well, the Baron definitely stays up as an idea, which is why the bottom lane is left for now, and the focus on the top lane is where things are. A lot of control to this side of the map here this late in the game, or I'd say mid-game. Team Liquid doesn't want to give that away. This should be theirs quite easily, especially with the spread of Team 8 across the map. You're talking about where the waves were, and that's the result. They're just not there to guard this turret.
Dive, look for the charm.
Ooh, just off the edge. Close.
They can go for those plays, though, because CaliTrolz is bottom. He's the only person who's going to lock somebody up on this team unless you get a lucky hook. Cali, like you just go from one side of the map, it's like, oh, brutality, and everybody going. And it's like, oh, peaceful farming with Maokai.
Yep, and it almost gets impossible for MapleStreet to even use the axe catches here as you're getting pushed into a turret, right? Everybody's trying to clear the farm. You're not catching axes. You're not getting any more power.
They can even throw a charm at the spot that it's going to land at.
Right.
There's a lot of telegraph play there.
He actually has the Wraith Elixir in MapleStreet. That's a lot of gold to put in between buying items, especially at 20 minutes.
He just needs that early gold spike. That early combat. Early combat stats. It's a dip for him. He hasn't popped it yet. He's going to pop it as soon as they get into a team fight to hopefully win it and try to swing the game back. It's kind of like buying a Majai's and being like, well, I hope this game snowballs in our favor. This will give me a little boost as support.
Well, the kills and assists, so they boost you up. That helps.
It's an investment that comes back to bite you sometimes.
Good. It could indeed. Piglet, Infinity Edge onto the Phantom Dancer. That maximum output he's looking for from his champion this game, and they are actually having a great game across the board. Looking at FeniX's inventory, onto a needlessly large rod now, just seamlessly putting that Morello Namicon in. It looks like it was there, or not, and then there. As we look back, these guys are getting everything they want. We see the second Dragon was also picked up, and a 10,000 gold here for Team Liquid.
They've been pretty much dictating the pace of this game ever since that dive bottom where they got the kills, and then they just kept pressing with Quas. Then they revisited it, and they've really exploited the bot lane of Team 8 early on, and then transitioned that into the rest of the map.
Right. I don't think we got the for sure. That was a really good take of the second turrets because they were just so powerful at that time. Team 8 couldn't really stand to them. So Team Liquid, as they did approach the second tier, able to take it down. Again, getting all the waves pushed here, and I don't think the inhibitor turrets are going to last long as they make approach onto this one. 6-1 overall in turrets, which means only 5 more stand on the map for Team 8.
Yeah, Team 8 can't really defend these turrets either. They are a dive fight composition that lacks ranged wave clear. Kassadin's not going to clear these waves from safety.
That's true. We didn't even look at that.
Clear them from safety. Maokai's not going to, so they're very. It's like you can't siege. You can't break a siege either. You have to just fight.
So many things just stacking up against them. And Liquid still playing this very cautiously. Slooshi gets caught. He can rip away. Whoa, Xpecial. He went in on the Zenith and actually got pulled in by Slooshi. A little bit of a mistake there, but not something he wanted. FeniX actually going down as well, but not before taking down Dodo. And Team 8 says this is our base, and they're able to take down 2.
I'm sorry, which team is Team 8 and which team is Team Liquid? Because that was a crazy dive there by Xpecial. I think he's just throwing out, it's like a warning Zenith, and then it hooks somebody.
Yeah, I didn't actually want that.
All the way back. That was a big misplay there, which gives up a lot of pressure, allows teammate to kind of breathe, clear this giant wave bottom that was going to start flashing.
See what happened here again.
Goes in, yep.
Yeah,
Flashes
just on the
backwards.
edge.
Oh, he flashes backwards right after that.
Oops.
So CC overlapping is still a thing, and he gets an action in between them.
Yeah. Well, sometimes that's all you need to get a little edge. However, an even bigger edge is going to be taken here by Liquid, as nothing can be done about this from Team 8. It's going to be an easy Baron, and now stopping these waves is only going to be impossible.
I'm loving that vision toggle because you could see the pop-up of all the red wards inside of the jungle.
Yeah.
If you turn it off and back on, it's like boop, boop.
And you saw a lot of teammate members.
Oh yeah, it's like a light bright over there, but it's all red.
Danger, do not enter.
Definitely for teammate there, because they have all this control. They know where they can press, because they're like, Slooshi's top, Cali's bottom, press mid. They get to make all these decisions very easily. We had High on the desk just a moment ago saying, you know, that vision is so important, and that you get to execute your strategy and just walk around and be like, oh yeah, that's what they're doing, and when he's talking about CLG.
Yeah, no, that's the point I was going to bring up too. If they wanted to just kind of walk down middle, they wouldn't have to worry about CaliTrolz flanking from the side. Yeah, it'd be bad, but it would just be like watching the fight earlier when you thought CLG was out of position, and then they won it. They're just so far ahead right now. Teammate looking to slow this down at least, figure out maybe how Team Liquid does this, or has done this throughout the game. We've actually seen teams do that, kind of just slow down a game, make sure it goes long, and figure out where their mistakes were, and actually learn in-game from it.
Yeah, and Porpoise actually goes for a Spirit Visage here for some magic resist for himself. It looks like Dodo is actually going to chip in and go for the Aegis, so it's going to be delayed before they get that team-wide magic resistance that will negate some of the spell penetration from Quas, and also kind of just shut down the Abyssal Scepter in general. It takes 20 away, but so Aegis adds 20.
Been some pretty quick games today, Zirene. Just previously around the same time. Now 25.5 minutes, 10-2, and Team Liquid is looking fierce, getting about just the half damage on the turret every time they're able to approach it, and they're waiting for the next wave for that. Can't even activate off of Dodo's death sentence there, just too much power to be facing right now, but they are still looking for that catch. Obviously, we're saying eyes onto CaliTrolz for teammate. He's the one to be looking for to go in.
The Baron's going to soak a lot. They did get the charm again. Oh!
That range shouldn't be there, knowing that FeniX is going to be on the front line is what has started a few of these fights now, and Team Liquid will get the engage they want this time. There will be no turret to stop them from going further. The inhibitor will go down on this, Zirene, and they may be able to put the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, they have the Baron buff. They have minions here. They'll get some damage on it, but they don't have the defensive minions just yet. Maple's going to throw out
Whirling Death, only doing so much. That minion actually out of range of the turret. So you're seeing a caveat here of Baron. When you approach the Nexus turrets, may not be in the range you want it to, but the rest of the minions now coming in, and Team Liquid actually may not have the time to finish now.
They decide to back off because Porpoise is up right now, and they can shove other waves, but they have to back. They're going to use the Baron recall, rush right out, because Dragon, 10 seconds on it. They'll make it there in time.
Just got to go fast. Throw it out.
They also got to make it to that Dragon very quickly, because you don't want to give teammate any options at this point. You want to keep that chokehold on the game. So FeniX is just going to try to recover some HP from his passive and just charge it up. Then just be good to go, because he doesn't have any item break points available to him.
So this was what they wanted before, just a fight like this.
Yeah, they wanted just that fight. You see Xpecial misses Zine plate there, so he doesn't go in, and he actually follows up afterwards. There we go. That's what Team Liquid were looking for. That coordinated fight that happened right as the turret was going down. So the threat of the damage on the turret, which is actually the most threatening member of Team 8 at this point, gets destroyed as they're starting the fight.
There's just so much damage everywhere when you group for that team. Foxfire flying everywhere. Like maplestreet wasn't even a focus, and he literally went down 90% of his health immediately, and Dominate finished. Very hard to stand up against this Team Liquid team with all of that AoE, and like we said, that Abyssal Scepter just helping to shred along the way. They are far and beyond ahead now, 14,000 gold. What looks like the finishing touches previously on the bottom lane should come shortly here for mid. And Team Liquid's coordination definitely looking a lot more on point.
Yeah, and to have the presence of mind in the early game to be like, dominate, come bottom. Maple's going to push us completely back all game. They capitalize on it. They go up for a ward, and they get immediately punished. So Team Liquid punishing the wrong mistakes, I guess, the wrong moves from Team 8, so that they're able to come out very early on in this game with a huge lead. Piglet He doubled his kills. 4-0 and 6. So far, his best performance of the season.
Yeah, and also Team Liquid's kind of, oh, maybe CaliTrolz going in, gets hit up a little bit there, but not something they want to fully take. Is that the composition isn't kind of, oh, again, Xpecial now. They're not leaving Piglet by himself. Yeah. Things are being not totally built around him or totally left up to him.
He's a team player.
He's a team player.
This is like a half wombo combo comp with the Rumble Jarvan, Leona, and Graves, and then you just throw an Ahri in there for dominating the lanes early. But all Team Liquid have to do is just clear these waves. There's no siege potential or siege breaking from Team 8 with the lack of ranged wave clear. This bottom wave just gets to shove in on that bottom tier Nexus turret.
Well, one of their best things to clear a wave is one of their highest cooldowns, Whirling Death. So it's not going to work every time.
You throw that ultimate out just to clear a wave, and that's what you're... That doesn't tell you very much about how this game is going for Team 8.
Yep.
Tells you that's absolutely terrible.
So we see the CS has actually stayed pretty much even except for FeniX. He's just kind of been going crazy back and forth. It's been Team Liquid controlling the map and pretty much taking it down through objective style. Something we've seen from them usually. They are ones that control dragons. They're ones that continue to control the map once they do have all of that vision.
Yeah, Dominate's having a very reminiscent game of his week ones here with all these assists on his Jarvan.
Yeah.
He's at the right places at the right time to just give his team the strength they need to get into the game. He's kind of a facilitator for his team. And that's, I think, when Team Liquid excel, is when Dominate is playing a control style of the map. That's what works for them, and then when they all get on the same page, it's even better.
So true. They ran that Jarvan in week 1. They ran the Nunu in week 1. Very supportive, like you said, and the team really thrives off of that style of play from him. It's a good thing, because he does like to be quite vocal and calling shots, saying things in the team.
Yeah, and him taking over the early game like that is really big. Look at this. Team Liquid, they're going to punish CaliTrolz for being so far up. He's trying to back right now.
Nope. Flag and drag. That's why they outlawed lawn darts.
Nope.
Simple stun. Solar Flare right on the money. They're going to be able to lock down CaliTrolz, which means his teleport's down. You know, not going to have to teleport really to the outer ring of inner turrets, but that will be down if he wants to get far out of the base again and try to get back in.
Dodo?
They're actually... I like the chances they're taking here, but these are scary moments for them, the way they're behind.
Oh, that one didn't go over. Nobody saw that.
That's a really tall tree. I've had that happen before, too.
You gotta chuck it.
You can't, yeah, you just really have to heave it.
There you go.
They know. They just got to know. That ward previously may have seen them. They cleared out or something, but back to Baron.
Also got to know that the Baron is being destroyed right now by Team Liquid. So far, it's been a very clean game from them. They're keeping the vision up on the backside. Oh.
I was sitting here wondering why maplestreet was looking so smiley. Because he just missed the Baron there, so they will grab it. Full control here. Team Liquid to put the finishing touches on of a pretty fantastic game. They came out strong in the early part. A teleport from Quas down to the bottom lane to really start things off. He got first blood, which actually turned around a bottom lane that was going poorly for Piglet and Xpecial. Something a lot of people have been questioning is, will that lane be something that Team Liquid can kind of balance on if they're doing bad? In this game, it wouldn't have been.
Yeah, and speaking of TPs, he just used his to get back to this middle lane to keep the pressure on. They want to close this game out before the 35-minute mark. They're probably going to muscle their way straight up to this turret, keep Piglet safe, make sure you can't engage on him. It's so hard for Team 8 to clear waves.
Yeah, it almost looks impossible now, Zirene. So much control of the map, control out of Champion Select with a great composition that's been synergizing well together, and Team Liquid are now taking out the bottom inhibitor. They have not gone for the top side of the map. Just staying averse to that one for now.
And this
is just making it work for themselves. They're taking it very slow. I think cautious is the word right now.
Yeah, they're being very cautious with their play. They're making sure that they're clearing these waves out because it's a systematic win at this point. When you look at the composition, you're like, okay, no wave clear. We're already ahead from the early game. Just don't mess it up with a botched engage. And now they're so far ahead that even if they did have that type of engage, it would have to be under both Nexus turrets, and even then, they get a second chance.
Yeah.
If Baron's not up, all they would have to do is wave management on Team 8's side. So Team Liquid are very close to closing this game out with a 16K gold lead at 33 minutes.
This will be one of the larger gold leads that we've seen. Piglet grabbing red. Don't really have to grab red right now, but they're actually clearing their camps, so really taking all the time they want here. I was going to say they're waiting for super minions to get in, but the lanes are pushing back towards them now, so they don't even have that advantage.
Yeah, everybody's pretty much going all out here in terms of item builds for Team Liquid. Team 8 are sitting there going, all right, we need to at least get on our build paths. They're like 3 items in, 2.5, and Dominate's like, BF sword. Let's just slam some people into the ground with this Cataclysm.
Getting the dunks
and
on.
end the game. He wants to just
So
close this out.
Liquid came into this game with a win condition of 5 items or bust.
Yeah.
Got to get through all the way to the recipe. So this will probably be it. They'll back, then they'll get more items.
Yeah.
But they're definitely doing it their way, that's for sure.
It looks like they weren't expecting the type of pressure that Team Liquid exerted early. They're punished for it. Dodo!
Oh, man. Dodo gets popped there. The solar flare goes down. Burns out Dodo, and they're going to have what they need here to take out the Nexus turrets. I don't think teammates going to be able to contest anymore. Already running for the fountain. You said it might have to happen under the Nexus turrets, and Quas is getting quite low as he overheats, but there's still focus from the backline there. FeniX and the rest of the team are making the shots that count, making the shots on the Nexus turret, looking for a few more kills to pad the KDA here, and some fantasy points coming out of Team Liquid as they take down Team 8 here in Week 4.
Completely taking it to Team 8 there.
Yeah.
With the composition they drafted and the fact that they banked on a later game payout with the Maokai Rod of Ages and Kassadin. They capitalized on the over-aggression bottom and then had that spill over into the rest of the map.
It really looked like they knew that window was there when they could attack just before the Rod of Ages spike, or not even spike, but were even created. CaliTrolz in the top lane, we actually saw last game. Maokai building the blasting wand first, wanting to do more damage. He did the same thing and got bullied out by Quas in that situation because we saw the Catalyst coming in late, which may have actually helped him sustain against that early Sork use Flame Spitter.
Yeah, he was really suffering in that top lane. Mid lane was also having a bad time there. FeniX took over this game when they gave him a little bit of relief on pressure. Like, let's go bottom, kill them. Then FeniX is like, all right, I'm stomping on Slooshi right now. I almost got ganked.
Yeah.
It's okay. They're putting things into me. I'm just going to go down bottom over and over again and control that side of the jungle. Their control of this game was near perfect. They played it very controlled, very calm style.
Yeah. We didn't even see him die until that mistake because of a flash and then Zenith Blade hit. So that was the reason that really Team Liquid actually even had a death on the board. Great control around. Good to see the team really, like we said, it's not that Piglet is the one to do something or he's the one left alone to fend for himself. It's all of the team. It's a team play thing now for them. And it's good to see from Liquid because that's what they were looking for too.
Yeah, I think Piglet's the type of player where you can't put so much on him to carry the game.
Yeah.
You have to facilitate his growth. You have to facilitate the champion that he's playing. Had the highest gold in the game.
Yeah.
13 KDA for himself. Across the board, really solid performance from him, but also from FeniX, who's I think has been kind of understated, underappreciated this season. I think FeniX is actually a really good mid laner. I think he plays very passive early on, but then he knows how to transition into a mid-game aggressive style.
Yeah.
We see it on Azir when he's like flashing in, using shifting sands, and then Emperor's dividing people back in. I think his Ahri is a good display of how aggressive he can be, but also how controlled he can be, when to go in, when not to go in. So I think FeniX deserves a lot of props too. Most damage in the game.
I think he works really well because this split, we've seen more mid laners needing to make plays. The ones that sit back, you may still get a few wins, but it becomes a very hard game if you don't have power from that area. Right now, we're